Hey, little birdie, don't feel down. Come and perch on my shoulder. Really? No wonder they never pay attention to me. Forget it. I probably shouldn't be anthropomorphizing. Haven't seen you in some time. To which one of the Animo Archon's winds do I owe the honor? Oh, is this your way of saying that you missed me? Since it wasn't meant to be with this little birdie, I'd better leave it alone. Let's take a walk, shall we? If you're wondering why I'm here, Jean's been worrying about trade safety recently. I discovered this when I unwittingly burst into her office to save the day. Another job involving long-distance travel falls to me. I suppose it's my own fault for having such a strong sense of duty. Still, on the bright side, business is now taken care of. And I have unused travel funds, so I was planning to...
Gundafar, we are in the middle of a war. Your place is at the front lines by my son's side. Pray tell, what provokes your
A matter of utmost importance, Your Majesty, such that I must personally report it to you.
Huh. Outdoor theater. Looks fun. Actually, yes. I saw some guards do a musical performance when I was traveling with their caravan. They were desert dwellers. So are these actors. And I think I actually... Come on, let's go watch.
Your Majesty, not only has God bestowed the throne upon you, but your beloved son, Prince Kubad, has led our brave warriors to victory against Frasyav's army. His men have laid down their arms and fled. Frasyav's brazen ambition is no more. He has bowed his head and now presents to your Majesty an offering of treasures and hostages. As my king, this battle has finally restored the dignity of our people. Moreover, with Frasyav's offer of land comes the opportunity to expand our borders, as your Majesty so greatly wishes. His Highness the Prince and I believe this peace settlement will be a great boon to our nation. It is for this reason alone that I have removed my armor and made haste back to our halls from the front lines. My king, what say you to this proposal?
Ah, it's the tale of Prince Kubad. Ever heard this one? Don't worry, I still remember the general plot. Let me fill you in on the background while the king deliberates. The main characters are the brilliant Prince Kubad and his war-hungry father, King Kabus. The one talking to the king right now is Gundafar, the prince's tutor. When the prince was young, the king was deceived by a malicious rumor that the prince had mistreated his stepmother. He demanded that the prince walk through a blazing fire to... Miraculously, the prince emerged unscathed, thus proving his innocence. But the seeds... Now uneasy in the presence of his mistrustful father, the prince requested to be sent away to the battlefield where he would fight against Frasyav's army. That's the enemy general This is the part where the prince has won the war and decided to forge a peace with the rival nation. He wrote a letter recommending peace to his father.
Frasyav lost because he did not have the blessing of God. Our God will always watch over us and punish our enemy. Once the bells of war have begun to toll, they shall not cease until the blood of our enemies fills the... If Kubad still wishes to be my son and hold the intaglio I bestowed upon him as proof of his royal blood, then he must obey my command.
Your Majesty, I must caution that a nation destroyed is not a fallen city writ large. Now, the loss of one city strikes fear into the hearts of our enemies, compelling them to accept defeat and cede land in exchange for peace. If, however, we insist on bringing a whole nation to its knees, then so long as a single person is left standing, they will see us as their sworn enemy, and one day return to us My king, a people is to their nation as wild grass to the open prairie. Though we burn down the whole field and spare not one blade of grass, roots continue to grow unseen beneath the surface.
Cease, Gundafar. Your mind grows dull in your old age, filled with naive delusions. We shall have no more need of you on the battlefield. As for my son Kubad, I will summon him back to the capital, so he may be tried by a court-martial.
What are you saying, my noble king? Why must you mistrust your own flesh and blood and sink ever deeper into the blight of hatred? When he was falsely accused, you once doubted his honor and made him walk through a raging fire. Did he not prove him? Now you would turn me away when I seek only to provide the wisdom of counsel. What is the justification for this?
The justification is that my word, not yours, is the law of the land. Cease and be gone, Gundafar, so you may spend the rest of your days with your wife.
What has become of the king that I served with my life? Fanaticism has robbed him of all reason and wisdom. Peace is surely the most favorable path for our nation, yet he refuses to accept it.
I must think of a way to seize control of the army back from the hands of my wayward son, that they might continue the fight to the end. Perhaps the first task should be this. I shall send a loyal contingent of warriors to eliminate Frostyav and the hostages he has sent to our palace.
Brilliant acting, Darbil.
I saw you approaching us in the middle of the scene. I was worried that my performance would be subpar and you'd think I was just making a fool of myself.
Not at all. Far from it. Actually, let me introduce you. This is Darbil, the actor for King Caboose. When we first got to know each other, he was still a guard for one of the merchant caravans. Seems like he's now
Nice to meet you. Any friend of Kaeya's is a friend of mine. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't making all that much as a mercenary. It felt right to me to get away from the danger and live a more stable life. I was already pretty good at telling stories, so I just recruited a few friends and started performing shows all over the country. Full disclosure, we had to put this little stage together using whatever wood and cloth we could borrow. It's really low budget. Anyway, we're all good enough at acting to get through the motions, but none of us are any good at coming up with a script. Everything we tried to write, so I got a student from the academia to adapt an old story I knew to make it more appealing to our audience.
I could tell that you've had someone tighten up the lines. They turned out very nicely.
That's good. Well, as you can see, even now, we still don't have much of an audience. Don't suppose you'd be interested to see the rest of the show?
Sure, why not? I don't have anything pressing lined up. And I don't think the Traveler... Tickets for 2, please. How much would that be?
There's no need for tickets. You could just get some food from Jafar Tavern. We've worked out an arrangement with them. We've actually found a sponsor for this performance, too. He's not too happy about the poor turnout, though. I doubt we'll be able to keep him for the next performance. A real pity. But what can you do, huh?
Darbil Asgar still hasn't shown up for the next scene. We should get his costume and sword out so they'll be ready to go the moment he gets here.
My apologies. I have to get ready for the upcoming scene. I'll see you from the stage.
Would you two like to order some food? What can I get you? If you're looking for recommendations, today's special is the tandoori roast.
Bear with us a moment. We're just going to take a look at the menu. I was at Port Ormos discussing some business opportunities, and some crook was trying to pull a fast one on me. Darbil took pity on me and politely asked him to make himself scarce. He's a good guy. A decent storyteller, too. Quite an interesting character. There's a lot of fun to be had if you hang around interesting people doing interesting things. Especially if you're in the company of an interesting friend. That's my secret formula for staying in a good mood. Try it out sometime. You'll see what... Thanks for waiting. We're ready to order now. We'll take you up on that tandoori roast chicken. And let's throw in some desserts, too. One... We've got good seats, close to the stage, but also not... We can watch the show as we eat. If I remember correctly, the next scene should focus on the prince. But I won't spoil it for you. You have to experience it for yourself. I don't tend to judge a story's worth by my personal affinity for it. But if you want to know my opinion, I'd say it's a fine tale, with a classical flavor that makes it a story. History always repeats itself. When you keep this in mind and watch out for the echoes of past events in the present, things that appear unfathomable at first glance.
Here you are. The check's on the table, too. Just call me over when you're ready to settle up.
No need. I'll pay up front. Here. Keep the chain.
Thank you, sir. Oh, but this is too
Call it a token of my gratitude for the excellent service. The food all smells wonderful, too. So
Thank you so much, sir.
Let's dig in, traveler.
Hey, Kaeya. I'm so sorry, but the actor who plays the prince has run into some difficulties and won't be able to make it. We can't do the rest of the show without him, so I'm really, really sorry, but we'll have to...
Ooh, that would be fun. I wouldn't say no. Darbil, would you lose any income if I were to mess this up?
Not really. I mean, there's not much of an audience here anyway. I wouldn't want to take too much of your time, though.
Don't worry about that. I like to be spontaneous now and then. Spice things up a little.
Let me think. Well, you already know the story, so you just need to memorize a few lines. Huh, you know what? This might actually work. Wait, but Kubad has a specific costume he's supposed to wear, and there's no way you'd fit into it. Switching actors is one thing, but wearing street clothes on stage would really ruin the immersion.
Well, good thing that I've actually got a costume with me.
You're kidding. Can you show it to me?
Sure. If you can show me the way to your changing room?
It's in the restaurant. Follow me.
Gotta say, I think I actually look pretty dapper in this. Uh-oh, not a fan of me as a prince? I'll have to act my heart out so you'll be too dazzled to make any dig.
Kaeya, here's your script for the next scene. It's not too long, but you also don't have very long to prepare. Do you think you can memorize?
Only one way to find out.
Okay, I think we've covered all your lines and movements on stage. You haven't had long to prepare, so
All right, I'm good to go.
Great. Then let's get this show on the...
General Kubad, son of Kabus, the fate of this battle is clear. I beg you, please spare my few remaining men. They no longer have the strength to fight back.
Frasyav, though you now lead only the husk of a once mighty army, I have no desire to crush your dick. Even your most savage warriors have no desire to see further bloodshed. And none among your ranks have opposed these peace talks. General Frasyav, do you agree to sign a treaty in good faith and commit from...
With my army in ruins, I am in no position to do otherwise. But on this, I give you my word. Yes, let us end our hostilities and send our surviving men home to their
We share the desire to lay down our arms for good and liberate our hearts from the dirt. Then as God above is our witness, by the authority vested in me by this intaglio of King Kabus, I hereby declare that I will spare your hostages and what remains of your army. May peace be restored to this land, and may these fields of... My tutor, Gundafar, has already made haste to my father, the king, with the recommendation of a truce. It is my...
Prince Kubad, your name is renowned throughout your land and ours. I will place my...
One will find on a battlefield no master of ceremonies, nor the paper on which a treaty may be signed. In their absence, let us... I, Kubad, son of Kabus, hereby pledge protection to you and all of your kin. May the oceans be stained red with my blood if I am ever to renounce this oath.
Wow, your friend is so dreamy. He's not a real prince by any chance, is he? Hey, Rashana, you don't want to miss this. The good-looking guy who left that huge tip is acting on stage with Darbel's troupe.
Darbel's one lucky man.
I return, Your Highness. I hope I'm not too late. Have you already promised peace to Frasyav?
Nay, I am not so rash as to preempt my father's blessing. I promised only what I could so far, the safety of his...
My child, I must share with you the gravest news. Kabus has been...
How can this be? You mean to say that my father has rejected our proposal for...
He has indeed. I urged him to reconsider, and for this I was rebuked and dismissed from his service. But far stricter punishment than this awaits you, should you return home with your troops. Please heed my warnings, dear child. I dare not imagine what unspeakable atrocities your...
Nay, the truce must stand. I cannot renounce my oath. How can man claim to stand above beast with... The masses have grown weary of death and conflict, in both our nation and theirs. Are we all now to bend to his will and massacre countless more to satisfy... When I departed my beloved home to fight in a foreign land, I did so to honor his wishes and for my duty to... Alas, is this fate's grand design?
Kaeya, the next line is, alas, is this fate's grand design that I should spend the rest of...
Must it be so?
Huh? Wait, that's not part of the script. Kaeya, did you not...
My dear audience, I ask you this. Do you believe in fate? If fate decreed that your life was to end in tragedy, what would you do? Oh? Then so must it be. Yes, so must it be. I shall discard this intaglio and rid myself of the shackles of fate.
Wait, but that's not... My dear prince, do you intend to betray your father and abandon your heritage?
Fate means to send the machinations of war to every corner of the land, to fan the flames of conflict. Fate would see my sword tainted with the blood of innocence. But I shall not bow to the will of fate. I am no pawn in heaven's plan.
Bravo! Where did this guy come from? Is he one of the new hires?
Shut up! Stop interrupting!
I, Kubad, will spend the rest of my...
Oh, at least he brought it back in the end.
Prince Kubad, my child, there is no need to be rash. Please bring at least your fortune and the
Gundafar, my dear mentor. You have always been like a but I must walk this path, or freedom dies by my hand.
Goodbye, my...
Ooh, it's Prince Kubad. Could I please get your autograph?
Why, certainly, ma'am.
Ooh, thank you. I'll just go find a pen.
Just an autograph? Well, you can get one of those at any time. Acting is quite fun. If there ever came a day when I left the Knights of Favonius, I think I might go into acting full-time.
Darbil, could you introduce me to this young man?
My apologies, Master Toos. I somehow missed you in the crowd earlier.
I was some distance away. I just came over near the end after the performance was outstanding across the board. I knew that the poor turnout over the past few days was just bad luck. The improvised section was particularly good. I think you could include some improvisation as a staple in future performances. As for the prop he threw, no need to get it back. It's fairly cheap anyway.
Thank you, sir. And a big thanks also to our wonderful prince. Had Kaeya not agreed to fill in, we might have disbanded right on the spot.
Kaeya, was it? Well, young man, I must say you've made quite the impression on me. My caravan is always loaded with...
Thank you for the invite, sir, but I'm afraid I've reached the end of my time in Sumeru. I'm sure that my friends and family in Mondstadt must...
Well then, consider it an open invitation. Once you've been bitten by the travel bug, my friend, you'll be getting itchy feet again before too long. My door is always open. If you're ever interested, please ask Darbil to reach out to me. Darbil, we can continue discussions on the sponsorship once you've wrapped up today's show. I'm going back to the...
Thank you so much, Master Toos. I'll see you shortly. Seriously, Kaeya, thank you for bailing me out again. You're a good guy. May the gods... You know, you should stay for a few more days. I owe you a meal at the very least.
Darbil, Asgar is back. He lost track of time playing Genius Invocation TCG. You've got to sort him out.
Genius Invocation again? Ah, that does it. That kid's not getting away with...
Sure, there's no rush. Okay, I think they're all gone. Let's slip away now.
It's best if you don't stare at this.
All right, this should be far enough. Don't think they'll find me here. People were starting to expect a lot of things that I didn't sign up for. Besides, the missing actor is back now. Darbil shouldn't be needing me to stand in again. I don't mind socializing, but compared to chatting over food and drink, I much prefer just going wild on the stage. What about you? Did you enjoy the show? Oh? I was expecting a lengthier critique, but you've thrown the question right back at me. Sneaky. All right. Let me think. All the world's a stage, and all the people merely players. Does that answer your question? Perhaps there's an inept god out there deciding everyone's fates, much like the academia student drafting Darbill's script. Yeah, inept is a good word for it. Honestly, it might even be a little too civil to describe a god who turns fathers against their sons and is bent on endless warmongering, don't you think? Anyway, that's exactly why actors need to wake up and realize they don't have to follow the script. There's nothing to stop them. Oh, my dear traveler, please don't take me too literally. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. The god is just a figure of speech. The real point I'm making is about everyone, you and I included, is both an actor and a member of the audience. If you don't like the script, just walk off the stage and join the audience. You always have a choice. A little too obtuse? Well, don't dwell on it. It's nothing worth losing sleep over. Relax. Be yourself. When I did my little bit of audience interaction back there, you had no time to prepare. You had to just say what you thought in the moment. I think those spontaneous thoughts are... You're still holding on to the intaglio I threw you from the stage, right? Keep it. Think of it as a souvenir from my It's been the most fascinating day, hasn't it, little birdie?
Gundafar, we are in the middle of a war. Your place is at the front line.
A matter of utmost importance, Your Majesty.
Huh. Outdoor theater. Looks fun. Ah, yes. Here's what I was thinking about the unused. Given that the acting Grand Master saw fit to allocate these funds to my trip in the first place, I think it's my responsibility to make... In other words, what do you say we find a way to spend the remaining budget? Perhaps a fancy meal at a nice restaurant? Or a river cruise that takes in the sights of Sumeru City? Or we... Hey, no need to put it like that. Let's keep walking. We can consider it some... The rules of the Knights of Favonius state that any and all expenditures during a business trip are counted as travel expenses. That's more than enough justification to live a little. Of course, with me being here on my own, it was looking like a wasted opportunity. But now that I've run into you, why don't we make this a joint trip? You're always so busy. It's high time you gave yourself a proper break. Even the sharpest blade loses its edge if it's always in use. And anyway, life is short, so we should make the most of the time we have. Right now is the perfect time to relax and enjoy ourselves. And... Great. Music to my ears. I'll cover the travel costs, of course. There's nothing more enjoyable than the company of a good friend. Let's call this a nice little excursion to round off my long business trip. Now, let me think where we should go. I've seen a lot of Sumeru already. How about Liyue? I'd be heading past there on my way back to Mondstadt anyway. Well, lucky me. I'll hold you to that. Liyue's Ministry of Civil Affairs frequently corresponds with the Knights of Favonius, so the address on their letterhead is one of the few places I'm familiar with. I don't have much luggage, so it won't take me long to pack. Give me a moment, and then we'll head... I've heard that there's lots to see and do in Liyue, but I'm sure you're more familiar with the place than I am, so I'll leave the itinerary to you. Great. Maybe you can tell me about your previous travels here along the way. It's such a satisfying feeling to just drop everything, going along. Who knows who we might cross paths with? We might even end up going on an impromptu adventure. Just like how I met...
Join the Adventurers Guild.
Do you know this shop? It looks pretty nice from the outside. Shall we take a look?
Welcome to Mingxing Jewelry. We are a long-established trader of precious stones.
Let me see. Ah, some nice jewelry you've got here. What do you think, traveler? See anything that suits my style? I trust your judgment.
Ah, you're interested in souvenirs. If you're struggling to decide, you might want to consider getting some jade. You can't go wrong with a nice jade pendant. They're an elegant addition to your look, whatever your age or gender. If you're looking for a specific design, we can make it to your specifications. It does take some time to fulfill an order, however. High-quality jade is hard to come by, so our waiting list is at...
Oh, that's a pity. I'm just visiting and I won't be in town for very long. So as much as it pains me to do so, I'm afraid I'll have to leave.
No worries at all, sir. If you're looking for something off the shelf, why not go and see Mr. Shurto at the Jade Mystery? He also deals... Exactly. But on that note, there's no risk in purchasing a piece of jade that's already been cut. But you could lose all of your mora betting on uncut... I won't say any more, as I don't want my fellow vendors to think I'm bad-mouthing them. It's only human nature to spend a little when you're on a trip. But don't be too... The Ministry of Civil Affairs takes everyone's economic well-being very seriously, and they often send out the Millilith to spread public awareness of well-known scams.
I think that's sound advice wherever you go into that.
The key here is consumer psychology.
Welcome! Looking for uncut stones or pre-cut jade? We've got plenty of both for your...
Uncut stones. Ah, yes, we were just briefed on that.
I believe I detect a quiet but distinct tone of apprehension in your words. Feel free to peruse at your leisure. I think you'll find that everything I do here is entirely above board and... Sure, you can bet on jade and lose if you're unlucky, but that... My terms are clear and transparent, and I only do business with willing...
Sounds perfectly reasonable. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much the vendor is...
Yes, exactly. I'm glad you understand. Although your peculiar phrasing at the end there, you almost make it sound as if I really am scamming people. Anyway, betting on jade is what it is. Feel free to try your luck, but if you can't afford... I'll leave you to browse at your own pace now while I deal with other potential customers.
Amber-colored jade would probably make for a good... Why not? This is a quirky little place. Somehow, I'm inclined to... Well, if you're not interested, then I guess...
Ahoy there, Captain!
What, a poor sailor like me? You must be joking. I barely managed to make ends meet. What about you, Chateau? Still scared?
Hey! Keep your voice down. Can't you see I've got customers? But more to the point, when have you ever seen a customer get scammed in my store?
I mean, you want the full list? Or... Hold up. Is that... Captain Kaeya! What, brings you to Liyue?
Oh, just taking a short trip with my friend. It's been a while.
Yes, it's been a good while, hasn't it?
Anywhere you'd recommend I visit while I'm here?
Let me think. Wanmin Restaurant's always a pretty good bet. Chef Mao's daughter is a skilled chef, and their prices are very reasonable. And, speaking of my wife, she won't let me forget what a great help you've been to us before. So thank you.
Your wife? Ah, yes. How is she doing these days?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Anyway, I've got something I need to do down at the South Wharf, so my apologies.
All right. See you. Ah, I finally remembered who that was.
I see. So you went through that whole conversation with no idea who you were talking to. Well, that explains the generic... Old Wu's usually quite the chatterbox, so it's very unusual for him to just take off mid-conversation.
An educated guess. Yes, you could put it like that. It's pretty straightforward, honestly. The captain was making a delivery to Mondstadt when his ship sprang a leak.
Well, it still seems strange to me. Sure, he's hardly the most charming conversationalist, and he's also mighty stubborn, but his eldest was once playing on that big rock over there when he took a tumble and injured himself. I helped to patch the kid up, and the next day, old Wu... I'm just surprised he was so quick to excuse himself, that's all. Normally, he's the kind of guy who, if you run into him on the street and he owes you a...
Well, stubborn, I can believe. Someone had drilled a gaping hole in his ship, and the water was coming in fast. How he managed to make it all the way to
Someone drilled a hole in his ship? Oh dear. It must have been one of the less savory captains out there trying to sabotage his line of work isn't easy. The poor fellow usually has to set sail before the break of dawn. He's been loitering around a lot these past... Competition is fierce these days, and there's not a lot of mora to be made in shipping. So every day he stays idle is another negative. Anyway, I digress. We merchants protect our goods like our own lives, so who knows? Maybe he...
I am an upstanding member of the Knights of Favonius.
Since you asked about recommendations earlier, you're here from Mondstadt, yes? Might I suggest the tea house is somewhere to rest your legs? If memory serves, they're just about to retell the tale of Bravebeard the Valiant from the...
Huh. Sounds interesting enough.
Time to go. Time to go.
Huh. So this is...
we meet again, Captain Kaeya. What a coincidence. Twice in one day. Oh, that didn't take me long. And I ran the whole way.
Wu, weren't you just at Wanwen Bookhouse buying a book for your daughter? What's this talk?
Shh, just leave it be, Aunt Zhang. There's no need to embarrass him right in front of everyone. I take it that you two aren't from around these parts. I'm a caravan guard by trade, and meeting people from all over the world is one of the main perks of the job for me. Why don't you...
Oh, Seems like the tea house is the place to be in Liyue. Did you manage to get something for your daughter just now, Captain Wu?
Yes, thank you. If it weren't for you, Captain Kaeya, she might not have even made it into this world.
I'm so lost, Wu. What's the story here?
Your wife's originally from Mondstadt, isn't she? Did you run into Captain Kaeya when you were there on business?
The latter. Oh, this is so humiliating. Anyway, back when my wife was pregnant, we were taking a trip to Mondstadt to visit her parents this one time, when we were mugged by a
Oh, that sounds awful. Were either of you hurt?
I mean, he's still here, and he's still got all his limbs, so they can't have roughed him up too bad.
Yes, he did. Thankfully, he heard my wife crying. My wife was injured and quite shaken up by the ordeal. So he took her to the winery and asked them to look.
So what happened to you?
I was in the water.
Huh? What did you jump in the water for?
No, that's not... They threw me into the water.
They did what? Did they have a weird fetish or something? Stripping a sailor naked and throwing him into the water. It's not like you were going...
The treasure hoarders always move in groups, and fighting back when you're outnumbered isn't usually an option. It's no surprise that they quickly overpower...
Captain Kaeya, please, there's no need for you to try to save face for me like this. I already owe you so much. You don't have to do anything more. Yet, despite that, I somehow only ended up humiliating myself further. They tossed me into the water to humiliate me, and to use it as leverage to get my wife to pay up. But they didn't know that I could swim. What I'd intended was to pretend to drown, then sneak back onto shore while they weren't looking. That was before Captain Kaeya appeared out of nowhere and saved the day. But God knows what they did with my clothes. I couldn't find them anywhere. By the time I gave up looking for them, you were most of the way...
Outrageous!
So, what happened next?
I made it to the winery, but the maids noticed me first. And they called the Lord of the Manor out to give me the beating the treasure hoarders never... After my wife recovered consciousness, she had to have a long talk with the young lord to explain...
Oh, whoa.
Ugh, good luck living that one down.
Trust me, I know. My wife never lets me forget.
I'm sorry, Captain. I wasn't intending to share that story.
It's fine. It's my own fault for thinking I could sweep it under the carpet and forget about it. I don't know if I can ever repay. Still, it won't stop me from trying. You and your friend are here to catch the storyteller. In fact, they do serve some food here, too, but it's not the best.
Oh, poor Wu.
I wonder how much Fanaria caught of that. Old Wu really has no...
He really didn't have to share all the details of that story. But since he didn't seem to mind, I did actually forget at first. But once he brought up his daughter, the memory of his naked escapade... Diluc thought some pervert was harassing the maids. He charged straight out the door, great sword in hand and raring to go. I haven't seen him so angry. So many people owe me favors nowadays. It's hard to keep track of them all. Hey, you didn't think I was being serious, did you? Do I really strike you as the kind of person to keep... I just helped the guy out on a couple of occasions because I happened to be in the right place at the right time. I have no intention of asking...
I'm back with fruit. Please.
Thank you.
Oh, don't mention it. Once my new pharmaceutical
business? So you found a new career?
Shipping's impossible work nowadays. There's too much competition, and the margins are too small, so I've decided to switch gears. I'm going to become a partner of Boo Boo Pharmacy and provide funding for a brand new medication they're producing. It's specially formulated to treat seasonal joint and limb pain. If you didn't know, it's a very common health complaint among sailors, but also I've suffered from it myself, which is why I know that a lot of people stand to benefit from this once it enters the market. It's a good cause and a stable source of income. Whichever way you look at it, it's a step up from the back-breaking work I did before. I've already had some talks and invested 1 million mora for the first round of—
That's impressive, Wu. I wouldn't have thought you had the connections for something like that. So is it Dr. Baiju?
Oh no, not Dr. Baiju. Actually, it was his master, Dr. Baifudze. His medical expertise and clinical experience are second to none. And he really cares about his patients. He gave me a few of his traditionally formulated bone-strengthening pills when he saw me suffering from my leg pains one day.
Dr. Baiju's master?
Yeah. I told him I'd be enthusiastically recommending his medicine to the other guys at the docks. And after some hesitation, he just went right ahead and wrote up a prescription for me, completely for free. He said that he shouldn't really be handing out free prescriptions since, and I quote, "It goes against generations of tradition handed down by our forebears."
But I got chatting with Dr. Baiju recently when the Secure Transport Agency did a delivery for Boo Boo Pharmacy. He told me that his master—
Huh? Why would he say something like that? I mean, the guy's old, but he's still in great health.
Captain Wu, where did you meet?
Just out on the street? I know that sounds dubious, but this is an educated and respectable gentleman.
Hold on a second. I just remembered something. My nephew-in-law met a medicine seller. He spent a lot of mora on it, but when he brought it to Boo Boo Pharmacy, Herbalist Gui took one look and told him he'd bought nothing but regular painkiller. This Baifudze you met, did he by any chance have a goatee and salt and pepper hair?
He did.
If I may, Captain Wu, there's a lot of mora involved here. It seems like it would be worth asking this Dr. Baiju about his master.
You're right, Captain Kaeya. A quick trip to Boo Boo Pharmacy and I can—
He left in a hurry. He must be stressed out of his mind right now.
Hey, let him deal with this, okay? No point in you stressing yourself out too. Fraud or not, I'm no Dark Knight hero. Or martial arts hero, for that matter. And neither are you. Wait, or are you? Now that I think about it, I can see you having a secret. Either way, Liyue has its own rules and regulations. Best to let the minister— We came here to enjoy ourselves, remember?
It is said that the sky's the limit for the aspirational soul. But alas, for the woes of the world are equally limited. Yet fate fortuitous found him when he entered the tutelage of an adeptus.
Is that all? I was hoping to hear the— It was all right. I suppose the hero always has to sacrifice himself to save others, and it does make for some good
Oh, I see the show is over. Yeah, I saw Dr. Baiju. Looks like it was his—
Then what are you waiting for? Don't just stand there. You need to report this to the Ministry of Civil Affairs right away.
Hold on. Let's not lose our cool. Get your story straight first, so you can give them a clear and detailed account of events in the order that they occur.
Well, I'd arranged to meet him at the Yunshang Tea House once I've withdrawn the next sum of mora, so—
Okay, so you've got another meeting.
I've got no one to blame but myself for this. I can't believe I— Young man, you're a good person, and I'm touched by your words of— The consequences are mine alone to bear. At my age, I'm sure I should be comforting the young with words.
It's obvious, isn't it? He needs to report the case to the Ministry of Civil Affairs.
Don't worry, Wu. We'll come—
Surely I'll be able to—
I am quite curious. How does our chivalrous martial arts hero intend to— There are countless victims of injustice in the world. We can't try to help each and every one of them, can we? Oh, I'm surprised. I didn't know you thought of me as someone who helped. I'm genuinely flattered. But we both know that I'm not that kind of person, really. Your logic is very straightforward, and quite endearing in its simplicity. But I like how you think. So I'll indulge your martial arts hero aspiration. Captain Wu, how would you feel about—
I'm sorry, Captain Cut?
Let's say, hypothetically speaking, I found a way to recover your Mora that would leave the man who did— if it could be done, and the only cost was owing me—
What exactly are you getting at?
The Traveler here is adamant that you should ask me for another favor. Personally, I blame the storyteller. After hearing the—
Captain Kaeya, young man, I— thank you.
All right. All right, then it's settled. Per our brave hero's plan. Ah, you're here. Good. I'll head upstairs first, and you join me in a bit. You've got nothing to worry about. As long as this lucky coin's in my hands, it'll do as it's told. Before I toss the coin, I'll get our guy to bet heads or tails. Then it's your turn to bet. Now remember, if I touch my chin, you bet heads. If I touch my foot...
Hello. Are you waiting for someone? As long as you follow the rules of the tea house, you're welcome here. Please be our guest.
Follow the wheat. From the way you describe it, Liyue does sound like an attractive place to— All that awaits me back in Mondstadt is a horde of insufferable sycophants. Truly tedious. The reason I left—
I understand. For one as ambitious as yourself, Mr. Rich.
What are you doing? It's common courtesy to introduce yourself. Can't you see we got here first? They're running out of tables, huh? Looks like this location's getting too small for them.
So, my friend, what's your name?
Here is the tea that you ordered.
Ugh, this tea is— Mr. Bai, this has been a most pleasant and insightful conversation. I consider it good fortune that I encountered such a refined gentleman as yourself so far from home. Please allow me to pay for the tea.
Yes, good fortune indeed. In that case, I must thank you for your generosity.
You there. I'll get yours too. Oh, you can't tell? My family's lived in Mondstadt for generations. I got bored sitting around at home and decided to set off on a journey to expand my horizons. The sights of Liyue Harbor are rather spectacular. I've half a mind to buy a waterfront property here so I can... That would be quite nice. If the family would spare me a little loose change, I could even invest in an antique shop. Flaunting? Come on, we're talking 20, 30 million tops, surely. Isn't that just pocket change?
Mr. Rich, just to clarify, that's quite a large sum of mora as far as the common man is concerned. It's understandable that our friend over here feels...
The name's Albert. Surname Rich. But only the servants in the house address me as Mr. Rich. Now that we're so well acquainted...
Albert does have a nice ring to it. It is my honor to become friends with someone of...
You flatter me. What say you to acting as my guide during my time in Liyue? I'll pay you handsomely, of course. Naturally, board and lodging would be included.
No need, my good friend. I shan't be so vulgar as to take your mora. We're both men of character. To join a noble gentleman on his travels is a rare opportunity. Please, let me draft up an exact item.
You there. You're welcome to join us if you want. Which clan did you say you were with? Guhua, huh? Strange choice of name. Gotta say, I've been in Liyue for a while now. This is the first time...
Yes, well, there are many martial arts clans and factions in Liyue. It's only natural.
Ha, fair enough. Still, weird name. Bet they have some even... Seriously, though, what kind of skills do you guys train anyway? It's all for show, right? I saw some people perform... I already told the server to put it on my tab. Don't bother getting her to split the bill. It'll only complicate things.
Young man, there's no need to take things so seriously. Why don't you loosen up and enjoy the free drink?
Are you trying to make a point by throwing my generosity back in my face? All right then. What if I say your bill is mine and don't...
Please, my friends, let's not get so worked up. Yin Chong Ti, you young people have hot tempers, I understand that. But there's no need to come to blows over a...
Did I hear that right? So you'll only pay for yourself if you win, but I'll get the check for the three of us if you lose. No, what I find truly absurd is your refusal to play fair. I demand that you also... Fine. You can have your apology if you win, but on one condition.
Well, as long as you're no longer raring to fight. Peace begets wealth, as the elders used to say.
Why don't you join us, Mr. Bai? Let's entertain this guy for a sec.
But I wasn't even a part of your argument.
What are you trying to say, Mr. Bai? Whose side are you on here?
Of course, I'm...
And anyway, it's no big deal if you win. It's just a few cups of tea after all, so you can just take it from your...
all right then. I suppose it's not all that different from the dice gambling games I used to play in my youth.
All right, now we're talking. Okay, now that we've agreed on the rules, how should we do this coin toss? After all, well, that should be simple enough. Here, I'll take this...
Young man, I can see that you haven't spent many years in the real world. I, too, only met this Mondstadt millionaire by complete chance today, but we're getting along just fine. In the real world, you've got to keep up appearances. There's no need. You young people are much too...
Just so we're clear, let's say the marked side is heads, and the unmarked side is tails. Everyone has to pick a... We should also take turns tossing the coin.
Sounds fair to me. Why don't you...
All right, then, I'll start us off. Here we... Oh, wait, I nearly...
I suppose the choice is arbitrary, since it's a 50-50 chance.
Let me think. I'll also go with tails. What about you? Heads or tails?
Oh, darn, I won.
I won as well. Guess there might be a formal apology. I have a suggestion. If one of us loses twice in a row, they should get knocked out while the other two carry on. I flipped the coin last time, so why don't you go next? I don't want you blaming.
Now just wait a second, my dear friends. Please.
Oh? Anxious to take your turn?
You are both young, and I've already seen your short tempers for myself. If Albert loses this round and this young man wins, you'll be tied. And before you know it, you'll... Well, that's not my only consideration either. You two may be too young to know this, but I've been... In dice games, people use all sorts of methods to rig the game. So, if Albert wins the next round and you, young man, lose for the second time in a row, then the third round will... If that happens, only for you to then find out that a purely hypothetical scenario, of course, but one that I'm bringing up now to avoid any misunderstanding.
Very diligent of you indeed, Mr. Bai. Looks like
A rigged coin will always be a little heavier than a normal coin, you see. This one seems perfectly normal to me, however.
What's your bet this time, Mr. Bai?
I'll stick with tail.
Tails, huh? Well, you seem to have a feel for this, so I guess I'll match your bet.
Well, my luck's still just about holding out. The three of us are now tied. So...
Well, here you go.
It's a...
That's what makes it fun, isn't it? Anyway, there's no need to stress. What's the cost?
You make a good point.
Okay, and now it's my turn to guess. Not that the outcome matters either way to me. I won't even notice the...
Why did it have to be heads? This whole thing started because you... What's it?
Sure, why not? I'm having fun. I can go for as many... What a miserly person.
But, Albert, all the fun of gambling is in the stakes involved.
Oh, come on now. No need to walk on eggshells here. Let's keep it simple, shall we?
Sure. That's exactly...
Well, here's the coin. You can toss first. Wouldn't it defeat the whole purpose of betting if you guessed the same as me? This is a two-person game now.
All right. It all comes... Ooh, looks like Rex Lapis has smiled upon me today after all.
Look at you getting so giddy over some chump change. It's like you've never gambled with real money before, my old...
Well, in that case...
Sure. Let's up the stakes a little this time.
Oh, maybe that's a little on...
What, 50,000? But that's just a single...
All right.
Great, then I'll bet heads.
Oh, how unfortunate. I shouldn't have gotten... Albert, I'm terribly sorry, but as it happens, I forgot to bring my coin purse with me today. Could you perhaps take this 50,000 out...
Advance payment? Sorry, I'm afraid that's not my style. It'll have to be cash.
This day, just getting better and better. Well, so be it. 50,000. Let me see what cash I have on me.
Just 50,000? That's not what we agreed on.
Huh? What are you talking about? I think you'll find that our bet was for 50,000.
No, it wasn't. The amount was 1 million.
1 million? Are you insane? Come on.
I'm being perfectly serious. I know what I said, and what I said...
You're lying through your teeth. Hey, young man, you tell him. Huh? What the? I'm not deaf, you... Oh, I see. I never met either of you before today, and out of nowhere you suddenly roped me into bed. Huh? Do you have any idea who you're trying to cheat? I know all... Well, don't you try to celebrate just yet. Do you really think that nobody else will have heard all the frauds? Frauds, I say! These two...
Help!
What is going on here? If you can't abide by our rules, you're not welcome at Yenshan.
Wait, don't throw me out! These two...
Well, let's take this somewhere else. I don't want any of you just... Okay, you two. Care to explain yourselves?
Gladly. He's making up completely spurious claims. We were betting Mora over a few... He won 250,000 from me, then another 800,000 from the...
Okay, so after settling up, a total of 1 million Mora should have...
It's a complete pack of lies! Hostess, if you don't...
Sorry to interrupt you all, but you're witnesses to the situation here. Is what Mr. Bice...
Oh, thank goodness you're finally here. What took you so long? That old guy's been bragging about the Mora he's won so...
Leave me out of this. I want nothing to do with gamblers and
Our new owner laid down the law not too long ago. We turn a blind eye towards casual games of dice, but there is zero tolerance for any explicit... Return any winnings to the party you took them from, and we'll say that none of this ever happened. Otherwise, I'll have to bring in the mill...
Why should I have to give them any more...
Oh, but I think you do. 2 investments, was it? 1...
You...
Halberd! Fang! There's a gentleman here that I'd really...
Please don't...
This was never your Mora to begin with. We'll be...
We can't have this discussion in...
What did you think, Captain Wu? Could you hear clearly from your corner on the 2nd floor?
Yes, everything.
Wu, this was your doing, along with that blonde one. And all the I know where you live, and I know what your wife looks like.
Who'd be scared of a crook like you? I'll take you on any day of the week.
Well, let's see how...
Oh, look at that.
Don't you two get cocky either.
My apologies for having to leave this question until you'd vacated the premises. I noticed that all the guests on the 2nd floor were present before you took your seats, then left almost immediately after you. Would I be correct in saying you were looking to set this man?
Wait, so you saw through it, right?
Under normal circumstances, we would never tolerate a scheme like this taking place on our... However, I understand that our owner holds the traveler in high regard, and must have good reasons.
Ah, as I thought. When you're operating on someone else's turf, you run the risk of clashing with the... Over to you, brave hero. You're the one with the connect...
Okay. I understand the situation now. It goes without saying that I have no wish to stand...
Well, Captain Wu, remember what I promised you? What do you think?
Excuse me, coming through.
Yes, that's him all right. The one who scammed
Wait! Where's your evidence,
You can't talk your way out of this one. Does the plaintiff have any witnesses? You got tangled up in this too, huh? In that case, please come with me. Your witness statements will play a crucial role in helping to move this case forward. Don't worry, we won't take up too much of your time. And you, sir, can stop twiddling your thumbs.
Hey, keep your hands off me! I'll cooperate!
Thank you so much.
Well, I have an idea. We originally came here to do...
Let me think. Now, where would I...
Sounds fun to me.
Time to go. Follow the wind. Time to go. Time to go.